it's Darlene, and I'm continuing my Stamp-tember series. This is card number 7, and this technique is the masking technique. And what I did off camera is I created the mask for all of the images on stamping on Post-it notes. So the key to that is the sticky part of the Post-it note. You want to make sure that the stamp has the most of that. So that's what keeps the mask attached to your paper. So the first thing you have to do is decide which stamped images you want, like what layer, which one do you want the full image, basically the front image. And I chose that swirly flower to be that the main image, and that's why I stamped it first and I masked it first. Second are these purple ones, and I don't know if you saw, but when I was inked them in the purple, I decided to put a little bit of mist on them, so that gives it kind of a watercolored look. And you could see there that you see how it's a little like smudged a little bit. So I really like that look. Since that flower was solid, I thought it really worked well with that. And I'm just continuing to stamp leaves and the flowers just all over with all these really bright colors, which I love. So when you get a chance, make sure you click on over to my blog, which the address will be down below, and it'll have a list of all the ink colors that I use and any products used for this card. You can see as I stamped that yellow, I must have had some black ink on it because I got some on the yellow ink pad, but I can easily clean that off, usually by either like a wet wipe. I can clean it off, or even like a wet towel or something, and just kind of like rub it off. So I'm not too worried about that. But you can see as I remove the masks what I was talking about with the layers. So like those yellow flowers were the last, well, second to the last ones, I guess those little pink, little tiny clusters were last. But you see how they're tucked under the flowers that I that I stamped originally. Sorry, I'm tongue-tied today. But I'm just going through and adding the flowers. I'm coloring in, just adding some interest to the images that I've stamped. I'm just using a finger dauber to add the center of that pink flower, and instead of just wasting that beautiful ink, I decided to add these polka dots as part of the background instead of just having add a plain white. So those are always really fun because they do give you a perfect little polka dot. And I just add some ink in the middle of the other pink flowers as well. And while I'm at it, I decide, well, I'm going to add some green and all around the floral image, and that kind of helps too because it gives it like a leafy fill. So when you're doing a bouquet, you don't have to technically fill in every white spot, but just add a little bit of green in between, and that's what I did. I'm just going to be working on the flowers, and you'll see me just adding and doing. I'm not really sure. I don't really have a plan. It's been a long time since I've used this stamp set, and you know, again, going through it and not really having a specific plan at first, it does make the card a little bit harder to complete, but it also makes it more fun because you're not sure what you're going to come out with, right? So I do a lot of, I guess at this point you just call it mixed media, because I'm using markers, which you'll see me in a little bit. I use this paint splatter, which is a homemade a little water bottle, and it's water and white acrylic paint. Kind of more watery than painty, if that's a word, because I do want it to be splattering. And I've used it so often that the nozzle actually doesn't even work. So I have to pull out the little tube and splatter it on, which I like anyways because it gives you a little bit more control of where you're putting those splatters. Here, this is what I'm talking about, the markers. And oh, that one's dried, and I'll toss it later. But it's hard to find purple matching. I really need to get more purple inks, markers, etc., because I don't know why. I mean, I like the color purple. I think it's pretty, but I rarely use it. It's not one of my favorites compared to like a pink or a yellow or orange. I like those colors obviously a lot better, and you can tell that by my projects. But you know, right now I know I don't like this finished project, so I'm just kind of doodling around and parts that I'm not really thinking, hoping that something pops up in my head on what I need to do to complete this card. So you see me, that's my old standby black marker. I'm just going around the circles. And now I've got a white paint pen. Again, like I said, this really becomes a mixed media project because I'm using a marker, watercolor markers, paint pen, acrylic paint. First off with the ink pads and even the silver ink. Just like, what am I doing? What am I doing? So right now I'm using another finger dauber with the purple, the same light purple that I started with, and I'm created a little bit more of a layer on those purple flowers. So I do like that better because I feel like it's just kind of layering, layering, layering. And then I decide to use that darker ink, a purple marker to draw around it. Because if you notice, I did that with the white pen earlier and I didn't like it. I'm not sure if I like that much better, but it does make them pop out for sure. So I like that. I hope you do too. So here's my thing. I decided to add some glitter glue in the yellow, and then I went crazy with the pink, and I was only going to do a little swirl, and at that point I was committed and I ended up doing the entire thing. And now I'm adding more glitter glue in the middle of those purples. Like I said, this has definitely become a mixed media project, but I do end up really loving it when I'm all done. I hope you do too. Please give me a thumbs up if you do, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. I'd really appreciate it. And this is the final card because I still wasn't loving how it looked, but once I gutted out the center and then put a black piece of cardstock between, and I lifted it up with some 3-dimensional tape in the middle, or foam tape, and now I love this card. And that black twine on the top with the ribbon. I don't know, I just really, really like it on that black card base. And again, I hope you do agree. Again, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. And hit that subscribe button down below. Bye.